Hi, my name is David Wright. In this video, I'm going to teach a power clean from the floor, but I'm also going to teach the progression of how I would get to that movement with an athlete. Olympic movement is something that I have a lot of passion for. I have a lot of passion for strength and conditioning in general, but these movements are pretty dear to me and something I do a lot in my own lifting, so I'm pretty excited about making this video. Before I dive into all the actual X's and O's, I just want to show some appreciation to the people that have kind of taught me the ins and outs of this movement. If you had asked me to make a video like this this time last year, it would have been really ugly, to be honest, and you know, the whole staff at Duke University really poured a lot of energy into me, and Coach Durfee and Coach Barthel, they really taught me the ins and outs as well as the rest of the staff, so I'm very appreciative of that. So the first thing I'm going to do is any movement, it doesn't matter what the movement is, I'm always going to coach off of four major things. That's going to be alignment, stance, setup, and finishing the lift. Those four things I believe are crucial to everything we do in the weight room because it's going to give us the best opportunity to lift with great intent and focus. Intent and focus, in my opinion, is everything because focus is going to help us have that great technique, and intent behind reps is what separates you from being an average lifter to great, which is going to make you in turn a great athlete. So, as well, on top of that, that terminology is stuff that they're using in football, and I'm a huge believer in making things as close to football in the weight room as we can as far as the terminology, and because at the end of the day, we're here to make them better football players. So the first thing I'm going to do with my clean progression is I got to make sure that this is a good movement for that athlete. So I got to make sure that they can properly catch the bar. How I'm going to do that? I'm going to have them try and get into good quarter front squat position. So get in a front rack position with the bar, feet squatting distance apart, and I'm just going to have them try and sit back and down into a good quarter front squat position and see if they can get into an athletic position where their elbows are up, their head is neutral, their core is tight, hips are back, knees are out, just right here. Weight should be in the middle of the back of my foot. All those things, that's the checklist I'm going through in my head. The athlete should feel comfortable in that position. I, as a coach, should be able to see, all right, they can get there. If they can't, we're not going to give up on them, obviously. When we front squat in the future, we're going to have them do it with straps or a hands-free front squat so we still feel that body position and hopefully get their mobility there over time, as well as in the meantime going through the same progression, just not having to catch the bar. So it'll be a pull or a high pull depending on what you're looking for. So first part of the movement, I got to make sure that their grip is the right way. So that's going to be part of our alignment, our stance, and our setup. So teach a hook grip, which means I'm going to take my thumb to the back of the bar and I'm going to wrap my first two fingers over it. Reason being for the hook grip, it's going to help me keep my arms long throughout the lift, which is going to give us the best energy transfer. And on top of that, it's going to give us our strongest grip for when we get to heavier weights. Next, grip width. Traditional, sayings is that it's a thumb's length off the knurling. Not a huge fan of that because everyone's got different body proportions. So me as a coach, I'm going to have to make some adjustments. The guy that's got real long arms, I'm going to widen them out a little bit. That's something that, as a coach, I'm just looking at and making sure that they're in a good, comfortable position and it looks right to be able to go on with the rest of our progression. So, first part of it, I'm going to teach what's called power position. Everything's going to get back to power position. I'm a huge believer in top down because the fact that we're starting with that finish, and as we work down, we're just getting more and more complicated. So if we're not good at the start, if we're not good at the top, how are we going to be good by adding more elements? So we want to make sure we master it as we go down, and that's kind of the checklist I'm going through in my head. So power position. My feet are shoulder width apart, toes slightly out, hips are back, slight bend in my knee, arms are hanging like ropes. I got my knuckles down for a good, I like to say, arms hang like ropes, your hands are the hooks. So we literally do have a hook grip, but our hands are also going to be holding that bar like a hook. That's going to give us the right bar path as we get into the rest of our clean. Head stays neutral. We should be able to sit here all day, and that athlete should feel like they can jump. It's just like a vertical jump. If I was to do a vertical jump, I'm not going to squat down like this. I'm going to send my hips back and slightly down. That's what power position is. I'm always going to ask the athlete, can you jump? Assuming he says yes and we're in a good position, next part of that is I'm going to teach the most basic part of it, the most explosive part of it. It's just going to be a jump shrug, hard jump shrug right from that position. So, get them in that great power position. Hard jump shrug. At this point, I want them jumping as high as they can, hard shrug, keeping that bar tight. Now I'm going to have to make adjustments. A lot of guys are going to feel uncomfortable going from that stationary start. They're going to want to rock forward. It's going to kick the bar out. That's a big mistake, or a common mistake, common flaw. There's other things. Before I can progress, I got to make sure they're good out of that position. So assuming they're good, we're going to go to the next part of that. Next thing I'm going to teach is how to properly shuffle their feet to catch the bar. This is important because if we can't catch the bar, there's no point in doing the movement. Otherwise, we just do clean pulls. We got to be explosive and stabilized. That's what they're doing in football. They're all constantly being explosive, stabilizing, absorbing contact. Every time they catch that bar, it's going to be a collision, just like football. That's why it's so good for training football players. So, we got that good stance, feet shoulder width apart. I'm just going to have them stand up nice and tall, pretty relaxed, core stays tight though. I'm going to tell them, I just want you shuffling your feet from that jumping position to a squat position. So it's going to look like this. Nice and fast. I'm starting with their toes on a line so that I can make sure and they can check, am I shuffling straight out? We want to, ideally, we should stay right on that line. So we're going to run them through some reps with that. Once they get good at that, that's something you're going to reinforce probably every day in your warm-up or at least on a regular basis. I call them pop downs, doesn't matter what you call them as long as you're working on that part of the movement. So now we're going to go back and we're going to teach an actual clean from that high hang position, power position, mid-thigh position, all means the same thing. It's just different names for it. So, get them back in that power position. From here, I'm trying to teach them and get them to understand that if I'm putting force from the ground with a good jump shrug, the bar's going to want to come up fast, especially if we're starting light weights, you're going to be able to feel that. From there, my elbows breaking up is going to be a reaction from that bar coming up from me putting force in the ground. I don't want them trying to pull it. If they're pulling it, it's too slow. We're not getting underneath the bar fast enough. So, I'm telling them, you're putting force in the ground. Point A, point B as fast as you can. The bar is going to come. Just let it come. Thumbs up your side to guide it. Thumbs up your side is a great cue because that's going to help keep the bar tight. That's going to help them understand elbows are coming up and that it's a reaction and we're shooting them through fast. Bar turnover is everything. This is where we get into finishing lifts. Finishing lifts with that good sticking to the feet. Finishing lifts with a hard aggressive elbows through, bar turnover. Always finishing with aggression. So, we're going to get them right there. To start, my basic cue is just going to be jump, shrug, thumbs up your side. That's what I'm always starting with. Jump, shrug, thumbs up your side. Stick to catch. I'm always making them stick to catch, so we really work on that body position. We can check. Another part of that is I love combo lifts. So combo lifts is just going to be kind of segmented parts of the clean, and it's going to allow us to check body positions. The most common one I like to do from any position with the clean is a clean plus front squat. So after they stick that catch, I'm going to make them hold for a second and then go right into a front squat. If they shuffle their feet properly, they'll be able to go right in that front squat. If not, they're going to have to adjust their feet and then go in a front squat. It's kind of a way for them to feel it, me to see it, and they'll know they're not getting into that right position. So, next part of that, after we get good at that, we're going to do what's called the top of the knee clean. So now it's going to be an RDL down. We're going to still start power position. RDL down to the top of the knee, start easing that bar back up. We're keeping our chest over the bar. When that bar gets back to mid-thigh, we should be right in about that power position to explode from. So.